I think it's pretty safe to say that things are just a little bit bonkers at the minute. I think you'd agree. It's hard to really know what to make a video about this week because it's sort of strangely been a kind of normal week of training in the last week, but obviously since then everything's changed. Good swim sessions, bit of time spent on the bike doing all sorts of kind of turbo sessions and good long rides out on the now very quiet roads. I haven't been able to run because I pinged my calf last week. I tried to get out to see if the calf had improved, but it hasn't yet. So I'll be spending a bit more time resting on that over this next week or so. And I've been doing plenty of strength and conditioning work, which is obviously going to help me with the old calf muscle and all the rest of it. I have to say, probably like a lot of you, I think I've discovered the way to lose weight is to be super stressed. I haven't exactly had much of an appetite in the last 7 days or so, which has led to me more or less losing a few pounds along with all the bike riding. That's kind of helped too. But it is really hard to kind of know what to say. It's hard to kind of really know what to sort of comment on and what to say in a week like this, where last week was sort of relatively normal and then obviously things have gone the way they have in this last sort of last few days. One thing I will say is I just went out for a quick walk myself just to get some fresh air, and I was stunned at how many people were still kind of hanging out together, particularly a lot of the kids that are now off school seem to be around in massive groups, which just seems bonkers. I went out on my bike on my own obviously yesterday I think, and there were quite a few kind of groups of twos riding around, not the pelotons that I've seen kind of people mentioning of cyclists that I've seen pictures of, but certainly groups of two, plenty of riders kind of out in groups of two. But yeah, I've had a fairly decent week of training, obviously without the running element in there. Lots of bike riding hours, I think 7 hours or so of swimming and riding my bike, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. But it just remains to be seen what's going to happen now, really, doesn't it, in terms of whether we're going to be allowed to kind of have the freedom of movement to do stuff outside, or whether it's just going to be turboing all the way. And if that's the case, we're all going to turn into a bunch of monster bike riders, but our running and our swimming is going to go through the floor, unfortunately. With the pools being shut, I think the hardest thing for most of us really is going to be about maintaining pool fitness. It just so happens that last swim we were allowed to have at Masters before they shut the pool. It was a threshold set, really tough, really good set. Lots of increasing distances really up to 450 metres. Maintaining sort of the same pace of 138 per 100, and I managed to nail that. So at least on one hand I've got a good marker of where I'm going to be able to get back to when all this blows over. The only thing I'm thinking about at the moment really is the fact that Marine Lake is just too cold at the minute. It's about 7 or 8 degrees, and obviously at the minute we're practicing self-isolation, but if they were to put us onto lockdown, obviously we won't be able to get in the lake, and I reckon it's going to be about another 3 to 4 weeks before it's going to be warm enough for me to get in there with 2 hats, boots and a wetsuit. It's going to be a case of working out how to maintain that swim fitness really for the next 3 or 4 weeks in hope to being able to maintain that threshold speed. So if I'm honest folks, that's about it. I mean, I guess ultimately we need to kind of think about what's going to be coming up in the next few days to know what to do in the next few weeks. And obviously things are changing on a daily basis at the minute. One thing I would suggest for you guys out there, particularly if you have kids of a school age, that you should check out Joe Wicks's 9 AM PE lesson that he's doing. Me, Bex and the boys did it this morning, and I have to say it was brilliant. There were 800,000 people all around the world taking part in it, and I have to admit I felt a little bit emotional at the beginning of it. It felt like an amazing thing to be part of, that, you know, best part of 1 million people were doing this thing all in their homes all over the world. But in the meantime, between now and when I speak to you next Monday, I guess a lot of things will kind of come through, but just stay safe, stay away from each other. But do look after yourselves and keep active. It's really important for our mental and physical health that we do that, and take every day as it kind of comes. And yeah, it'd be good to hear from any of you that have got some good solutions of things to do over the next couple of weeks. Have a good week. I'll see you next time.